Today I walked through a different Shanghai. Not the Shanghai of skyscrapers and neon lights, not the Shanghai of luxury malls and fast cars, but the Shanghai that existed before all of that. The Shanghai that still breathes in narrow streets and old buildings. The Shanghai that my grandparents walked through. The Shanghai that time forgot, but the city never let go. I went to Yuan Road. Yuan Lu, one of the oldest streets in Shanghai. The houses here have never been demolished, never renewed. For over 1,000 years these walls have stood. These windows have watched. These doors have opened and closed for generations of families. The roads here are narrow, so narrow that 2 buses can barely pass each other. The buses themselves are old, the kind with electric cables running along the top. They move slowly, deliberately, like they're in no hurry to leave the past behind. I started my walk at the beginning of the street. The morning light was soft, golden, the kind of light that makes everything look like a memory. I took a deep breath and started walking, step by step, block by block. I didn't know how far I would go. I just knew I wanted to feel this street. The first thing I noticed was the sound, or rather, the lack of sound. No honking taxis, no rumbling subways, no construction drills. Just the hum of electric buses and the occasional bicycle bell. The sound of old Shanghai, the sound of a slower time. The buildings on Yuan Road are mostly 2 or 3 stories high. Some have wooden doors that look like they've been painted 100 times. Others have iron gates with rusted flowers. Every building has a story. Every crack in the wall has witnessed something. A wedding, a funeral, a child being born, a family leaving, a family staying. I passed by a small shop selling pizza and fried dough sticks. The owner was an old woman with silver hair and kind eyes. She didn't look at me like a stranger. She looked at me like I was just another person walking through her street, like I belonged there. I kept walking. The road curved slightly. I saw a grandpa walking slowly and carefully on the street. A grandmother sitting on a public bench outside her door, eating fruits. 2 children playing with a ball. Life was happening everywhere, not fast, not loud, just happening. I looked up at the electric cables that crisscrossed above the street like a web of old stories. They connected the buses to the city. And somehow, they connected me to a time I never lived in. A time when Shanghai was quieter, slower, simpler. About halfway through, my legs started to give up. 5 kilometers is a long walk, especially on old streets, uneven pavement, narrow sidewalks. My boots weren't made for this distance, and my feet were screaming at me. I stopped, looked around, and thought, okay, let me just get a taxi. I stuck out my hand. Nothing. Another taxi passed. Full. Another one. Full. Another one. Full. I crossed the road and went to the opposite side of the road and sat down on the bus stop bench. I sat there on the corner of Yuan Road, tired, sweaty, a little frustrated, watching taxis zoom past me like I was invisible. And then I laughed. Because here I was, walking through old Shanghai, showing you the city's history, dressed in black from head to toe, trying to cheat my way to the end. But the street had other plans. The street wanted me to finish, to feel every step, to earn the ending. So I kept walking. No taxi, no shortcuts. Just me, my tired feet, and a 1,000-year-old road that wasn't going to let me quit. Sometimes the universe tells you, you came here to walk, so walk. And I did. I walked past a courtyard hidden behind a wooden gate. I peeked inside. There was a small garden with a single tree and a stone table. A man was sitting there drinking tea, reading a newspaper. He didn't notice me. Or maybe he did, but he didn't care. He was in his own world, his own Shanghai. The street stretched on. I didn't check my phone. I didn't look at maps. I just walked, 1 foot in front of the other, letting the street guide me. I started to feel the distance in my legs. 5 kilometers is a long walk. My feet ached. My shoulders felt heavy. But I didn't stop, because walking through old Shanghai is not about comfort. It's about connection. It's about letting the city speak to you through your tired bones. I passed by a faded sign on a wall. The characters were barely visible, but I could still read them. state-owned restaurant. A relic from a time when everything was state-owned. The building was still there. The sign was still there. The memory was still there. I thought about how much Shanghai has changed, how fast it has grown, how the skyline has stretched taller and taller. But here, on Yuan Road, the city has refused to change. Not out of stubbornness, out of love, out of respect for the people who lived here before us. I walked past a row of old houses with balconies, laundry hung from the railings, red, white, blue, ordinary clothes drying in the sun, the same clothes that have dried on these same railings for decades, the same families, the same routines. I stopped at a small convenience store, the kind that sells everything from water to toothpaste to lottery tickets. I bought a bottle of water and drank it slowly. The owner smiled at me and said something in Shanghainese. I caught the word walk and nodded. Yes, I'm walking. Yes, I'm tired. Yes, it's worth it. I continued walking. The afternoon sun was starting to fade. Shadows lengthened across the narrow road. The electric buses passed me with a gentle hum. I noticed how the drivers would slow down when they saw me, like they knew I was on a journey and didn't want to interrupt it. I passed a red door, painted red like so many traditional doors in Shanghai. I wondered who lived behind it, what their life looked like, what their dreams were. Did they ever walk this street and feel what I was feeling? Did they ever realize how lucky they were to live on a street that time had forgotten? Yuan Road is not touristy, it's not polished, it's not Instagram ready, but that's what makes it beautiful. It's real, it's raw, it's honest. I walked for over 5 kilometers. My legs were screaming, my feet were begging for rest, but my heart was full, because every step reminded me of something. That Shanghai is not just a modern city, it's a living museum, a place where the past and present coexist, where old buses share the road with new bicycles, where ancient buildings stand next to modern dreams. I finally reached the end of my walk. I turned around and looked back at the street I had just walked, the narrow road, the old houses, the electric cables, the quiet hum of a Shanghai that refuses to disappear. I felt tired, so tired, but I also felt grateful. Grateful that this street still exists. Grateful that I got to walk it. Grateful that I get to share it with you. If you're watching this, you just walked 5 kilometers with me. You saw old Shanghai. You felt the narrow streets. You heard the electric buses. You experienced a part of this city that most people never see. I hope it meant something to you, because it meant everything to me. This is Coco's crush, and today I crushed history. One step at a time, one tired foot at a time, one beautiful old street at a time. I passed a fruit stand. It wasn't fancy, just a wooden cart with a worn umbrella, plastic stools, a rusty scale, and an old woman sitting behind it all, fanning herself like she'd been there forever. She smiled at me, wrinkled hands, warm eyes. She said something in Shanghainese. I didn't catch all of it, but I caught the word lei liao, tired. I nodded, smiled back. 是的，有一点累. Yes, a little tired. Don't just walk, crush it. Even when you're tired, even when your legs ache, even when you're almost worn out, because the best walks are the ones that leave you exhausted but full. Thank you, Yuan Road. I'll come back, but next time, I'll wear more comfortable shoes. Thank you for walking with me today. 5 kilometers, narrow streets, old buses, 1,000 years of history beneath my tired feet. Walking this far for you is a little too much for me. My legs ache. My boots have seen better days. And honestly, there were moments I wanted to stop, moments I wanted to wave down a taxi and cheat my way to the end, but I didn't. Because this walk wasn't just for me, it was for you, for anyone watching, for anyone who wants to see the real Shanghai, the old Shanghai, the Shanghai that refuses to be forgotten. So if this video made you feel something, if you smiled, if you remembered, if you dreamed, then please show your support. Like this video, share it with someone who loves Shanghai, or someone who needs a little motivation to keep walking their own streets. And subscribe. Subscribe to Coco's Crush, because there are more walks to come, more streets to explore, more tired feet, more beautiful moments. I'm Coco. This is my crush, and I'll keep walking for you. Then when it's too much, even when I'm worn out, even when the taxis won't stop because you're worth it. And this city? It's worth it. Don't just walk. Crush it. See you on the next street.